Good afternoon. Happy birthday to Coach Ditka, of course. And then roster moves today. We know we signed Isaiah Coulter to the 53. We signed tight end Reyes to the practice squad. And then our injury report will be on Thursday. So get that squared away. So over the weekend and over the course of today, we had the players in to talk about our evaluation for each player. So each coach talked to each guy during this last couple hours, and we had individual meetings to review not only the last 2 games but also the previous all 6 games. And it's really about fundamentals and technique when you're talking to each player. How can he improve on his run technique, his pass technique, his alignments. Is he getting his alignments down? His assignments, the keys, the techniques, all those things are important because that creates cleaner football and cleaner execution for our football team. So they're in partnership there, and that's going to be an ongoing process. And that's not to say that it's just during a mini bye or during a bye. That's going through the whole entire season. We're always trying to do that. But this is when you get a breath and you can take a chance to really dive into it a little bit deeper. And going into individual this week, we'll ramp up our individual back up a little bit longer so we can work on those fundamentals and techniques for each player. And that'll be very important for us. Also diving into, we're looking at, the schemes of how we're doing things. What are we doing scheme-wise defensively? How can we improve our run defense? Of course, that's the one thing that we've been working on during the course of this season. Doing a lot of things well on that side of the ball. I thought we had a good game the other night. Then obviously on offense, how can we improve our pass game? It's the flip side of that. Obviously been running the ball very well on offense, and how can we can keep doing that at a high rate. So and then special teams. Special teams has been pretty strong. It's been pretty strong all year. Our cover teams have done well. We got to do a little bit better job on our return teams, kickoff return. And obviously our specialists have been really doing well the entire year. So we're excited about where that is. But again, I'm not going to get into specifics with each guy with the scheme because I'm not going to give away anything for obviously competitive purposes. I'm just going to say that up front, and I will open up to questions from there.
What are some things that you would like to see Justin improve now that you've had the time to reset?
Yeah, just like we've been saying, and I think he's been improving on it. It's his footwork and the timing, and we think he's doing a good job of that. We did a few different things last time in the last game. I think that helped him, so we're just looking forward to doing some more of that and going through this process.
Did you find a lot in your evaluation of him? Did you find a lot of issues around him in which you guys, either through coaching or personnel, are not helping him enough?
Yeah, I mean, you always got to look at each play, and say, okay, what was that a function of? The execution was good because of this, or the execution broke down because of that. So I think you always have to look at that on all sides of the ball. Are we, do we maximize our guys? Are we putting our guys in position to make plays on both sides of the ball? Are we doing those in special teams? And we're looking at all those things right now.
How do you teach a quarterback to get rid of the ball faster in season when for 6 games they've been used to doing something one way? Is it possible to do that in season?
I think so. Yeah, I think you can make small incremental improvements, as you go. I think it's with anybody. I think you can learn to, read your keys and see, what the coverages are faster. I think you can identify that pre-snap, post-snap a little bit faster, and I think you can do that.
As a defensive guy, what do you appreciate about Bill Belichick's defensive skill set?
Well, he's able to do, what he's done over the course of the length of his career. He's take away a guy's strength and make him play left-handed. That's his whole motto of what he's been able to do. And we've seen it, in the Super Bowls and seen him in playoff games do it. And even when he was D coordinator at the Giants, you saw him do it there. So it's been a stellar career, and he's been able to do that over the long haul.
From your current seat now, is it hard to look at him and say this is what he's probably going to try to do to us? At least compared to maybe another coordinator or another head coach?
Well, I think you always do that. You always do and anticipate what another head coach will do, and you have to combat that. And you have to have in-game tactics, too, to also be able to adjust in-game for that. So you always look at it that way.
These comprehensive evaluations, was there anything, I don't want to say that surprised you, but maybe you saw it in a different light than how you had previously perceived it?
Yeah, I think you always do. When you get everybody's eyes on it at one time and you start floating ideas out there, I think that's healthy. I think that's how you get better. And you challenge guys. You challenge each coach, hey, is this the right technique we're doing? Is this the right thing we're doing here? Is this we're utilizing our personnel the right way here? And I think you have a challenging, each other to get better, in a respectful way, of course, but you have to be able to do that.
That's probably a good question for Luke Getzey too, but what do you think of this thing the Eagles are doing where they're sticking everybody right on the line of scrimmage on 3rd and inches or 4th and inches?
Yeah.
Like on every play, is that a thing that's gonna take over the league?
I don't know. That looks old school, doesn't it?
Well, why doesn't is this something everybody should be doing?
No, it's pretty unique, and it's a pretty good idea. So we'll see.
Coach, this is obviously the first time that you and Ryan Poles have gone through this together, but as
Yeah.
the trade deadline approaches, and you guys have to have these difficult conversations, what's the communication process going to be like, especially considering that there may be a natural conflict of interest between you wanting to win this week's game and him maybe looking towards the future?
No, I would say that Ryan and I want to win every game. So there's no conflict there at all. So,
I didn't mean that he doesn't want to win the game. I
Okay.
wasn't implying that. I'm
Okay.
saying that you're trying to win the game this week. Maybe he's saying we can leverage this player for future prospects or future players that may not help you this year, but will help you.
right. Yeah, I understand the question. I would just say that I would just make a general statement there that we're always going to do what's best for the Chicago Bears, in our franchise, not only now but for the future. That's what we're always going to do.
You talked about the individual evaluations.
Yeah.
How would you evaluate the offense and the defense overall?
Yeah, I think I kind of said it there before in the beginning. Obviously, everybody knows we've been running the ball really well on offense. We need to improve our passing game. In situations we need to improve. We know that. So we're going to work diligently to get that done. Same thing on defense. We hadn't stopped the run as well as we wanted to over the first 6 games, but we played some pretty good pass defense. We don't have the sack numbers we want to have. Part of that's a function of getting them in the right down of distances to stop the run in the first part of it. And we got to get better situation there too. 3rd down red zone, we have to get better. So we know where we're strong and we know where we have to improve, and we're going to work hard to do that and put our minds together. So we'll see where it goes, and it's a week to week basis. In this league, and every week is got a set of challenges to it. The personnel on the other side, your personnel, how they match up to it, what you can take advantage of, and how you can win the football game.
When you play New England, it's an interesting challenge for you because as a defensive aficionado, I'm sure you're familiar with Belichick, but you haven't actually prepared to face him until now. How much of a factor is it, or how much of a challenge is the unpredictability that he brings, where he might show you something that you didn't see on?
Yeah, like I said, you got to prepare, for the different packages that they might bring on offense, and certainly on defense, they have a lot of personnel that they bring at you, and they put a lot of different guys on the field at certain times. They got a lot of different packages, so you just have to be ready for everything. And obviously, he's done a nice job of that over the years.
You had a lot of success blitzing on 3rd down in the last game.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ask about if you're gonna do it a lot moving forward. What's the key to successful blitzing? Is it disguising it? Is it doing it just only once in a while in certain situations where there's not a pattern? How would you kind of describe that?
Yeah, I would say hard and fast is probably the number one thing. So when you blitz, you got to do it the right way. It's got to be done that way, and then I think the variation of the skies off of that. You're changing your coverages. Every single every single time sometimes, but you're always adjusting your coverages behind that pressure. So I think that where the answers are always different for the quarterback. So I think those are 2 things that I would say is important in blitzing.
And to go back to holding the ball too long, how does that, or getting the ball quicker, how does that apply directly to Justin? Is he holding the ball too long in certain situations? Have you seen a lot of that over the first 6 games?
Yeah, and again, that's probably, you'd have to pick out the plays, and we have to go through the plays on that. But, getting the ball out of your hands fast puts pressure on the defense. It does. When you're, for example, when they pressure and you get the ball out of your hands to a hot answer or a lookie or whatever that might be, and you hit him in stride and get the runner running in a positive way, that's always hard on the defense. It's always something that you have to work on, under center is, getting the ball out quick, from the shotgun, getting the ball out quick. It's all about footwork and how we deliver the ball.
And going off that, like, what's your evaluation of the offensive line specifically, just in terms of pass blocking, giving?
Yeah, I mean, we all know we're improving there, but pass protection's everybody, right? It's not only the offensive line, it's the tight ends, it's the running backs, it's the quarterback, so it's everybody. Pass protection's always going to be all 11 of them, and we will improve on that.
When this roster was constructed, it laid out a pretty clear path to how you guys wanted to go about becoming a winning team. In your analysis in this mini bye, do you feel like you've strayed off course on that a little bit, or are you where you want to be, or where do you feel like you stand? Are you the team? Are you at where you thought you would be?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. I think it's harder to answer. I would just say we are where we are. So the old saying, you are what your record is, all that jazz. But I would say that we are strong where we're strong right now, and we need to improve where we need to improve, and it's just right in front of us. So we just got to do a great job of being diligent in our work patterns, to making sure that we are working hard at improving those things, and also have checkpoints to make sure we are checking, making sure we're improving every single practice, every single week, and then moving forward every single week and making these improvements as we go. Because to me, it's like, you are right where you are. So if we win the last, 3 games and you're sitting here at 4-2 and all those things, we still probably have some of the same issues, if that makes sense. We got to learn how to finish better, like I said after the game. We got to learn how to play situational football, third down, red zone better, and on both sides of the ball. And we're going to work hard to do that.
Whatever adjustments you're going to be making, if you make them, are they adjustments you didn't think you'd be making? You know what I'm saying? If you had to kind of adjust your plan of
Yeah, that's a good question too. But I would say that it's different every year. I mean, every single year you're in a situation where you could have a bunch of injuries. You got to adjust your personnel. You might have to adjust your scheme based on the skill set. The skill sets sometimes change within the year from injury or players change during the course of the year, and you always are doing that. You always got to adjust.
When you brought in Halas Hall, you talked about your admiration for him, the way that you guys connected. For a guy that obviously Halas Hall, obviously given the struggles that he's had, what kind of conversations have you two had? And then obviously from a coaching standpoint too, how are you guys reevaluating what you can do with him, both offensively and special teams?
Yeah, so Halas has got a lot of talent, a lot of things he can bring to the football team. Certainly with his speed and athletic ability and space. So we're going to try to utilize that, and we're going to keep doing that. The conversations him and I have are always positive. I've always been upbeat and positive with him, to always look forward and just keep moving. I know he's disappointed in what's transpired over the last few weeks, and there's nothing we can do about that now. So he just has to keep his eyes forward, and then stay positive, and we're going to start getting him more involved as we get going here.
And Khalil Herbert's averaging 6.7 yards per carry. Do you have a sense why he's averaging almost 2.5, more than 2.5 more than David is?
Yeah, I don't know. I know he's a good runner. I know he's slippery. I know he's got good contact balance. That's for sure. And I think that happens a lot of times where the first tackler doesn't get him down.
You seem to have a pretty steady rotation with them with 2 on 1 off, I think, last week, or 2 drives on, 1 drive off. Is that going to get mixed up at some point? Is that part of your analysis?
Yeah, I mean, we're just going to go with the hot hand. Who's ever hot right there, we're going to stay with him and go from there.